Guys, this is Vaibhav. So today we are going to learn more about the future methods in Apex programming. What are future methods? So first of all, before we get more deeper into the future methods, first we need to know about the synchronous and asynchronous operations. Basically, we called in a short way sync and async operations. So first of all, let me just tell you about the short idea about the synchronous operations. In this, in this, the tasks are executed one after another in a set manner where execution of the task are predefined. In this case, processor will pick one task at a time, and after completing its execution, the another task will gets picked. So you see, there are lot more tasks, task A, B, C, and D. In this case, in the sync operation, the execution of these all of these tasks are predefined. These tasks will definitely picked by the processor one after another. If whenever it completes the task A, it will pick the B. Whenever this will complete the task B, it will pick the C, and so on. And according to its execution, what tasks are set one by one. So these are the synchronous operations. In secondly, what are async operations? Whenever the resources are free from their task, then they are allocated to the another task or a heavy task to perform, instead allocating those resources who are already performing some other task. So means in async operation, the execution of the task are not predefined. We cannot assume which task will be picked by the professor. Sorry, it's not professor, it's processor. Firstly, and which task will be picked by the processor this time after completing a particular task. So in this case, let me just tell you about the one example, that let's say there is a construction of a building, there is a multi-story construction of a building, and there is a one lift is placed just to construct that building, and after its construction, that lift is will going to be removed. So the capacity of that lift is, let's assume 2000 kilograms. In that lift, they are using to lift the cement and other materials to create the building, and they are also lifting the workers to the top stories. So let's say there is a situation, once they have created 5 stories in that, and they are now creating more 5 stories, but up till now they have only just created the structures, the only structure of more 5 stories in that building, because 5 stories are completed, and up till now there is only 5 stories needs to be create, but only the structure is constructed till now. So at that particular time, whenever they needs the workers to be go to the top story, and they also need some resource like cement and other things to be lift with that particular a single lift. So what they can do at that time, they can because the resources is same, and in that situation only lift can only can pick either cement or workers. So let's assume this particular thing in this scenario. So whenever the workers needs to be go to the upstairs to the top story, then in that case cement cannot be picked. So cement has to wait for some time. Cement needs to be wait for some times to be get lifted into the lift and will be delivered to the desired story. So this is the exact situation of that. This is called as a async task. Those tasks who are waiting for the other another task to for their completion, those are the asynchronous tasks, and sometimes we call as a future method also. So I guess hope you understand the synchronous and asynchronous operation. So basically future method provides the asynchronous operations to perform task in Apex programming. So let's go to the details about the future method, why and when we need future methods. They are definitely basically some points are there. Some tasks are required resources for a longer period of time. Let's say some tasks are we need to create some bulk data operations in that. So in that case UI will not get stuck, and another some other small processes like updation, deletion and crude operations in that in the org will not get affected. So in that case the future methods are useful. And the second one is for API callout in Apex. Definitely yes, API callings are taking longer time than a usual task, because first of all API gets hit to that server according to its URL, and that server gives the response to the program back. So and in the end the program will parse its data, and that data will be stored to the SF in the Salesforce object. So in that case the you see this is the time consuming task. So in that case we need to use the future methods to perform bulk data operations, to avoid governor limits. In case if there is a possibility to hit the governor limits, then future methods can be used in such scenario. Why future methods can be used? Because future methods has limit of more governor limits in their scenario. So that is why the future methods are more useful in that. And the last one is to avoid the mixed DML operation. And I have written a note over there also. In Apex, if we need to create the asynchronous method, we just need to annotate them as a future methods. Yes, I have given the example also, small syntax for that. Future public static void future method, and the code over here. And let's see the parameters to write the future method now. Future annotation is must. Like whenever we wanted to create a future method, we have to annotate this particular annotation over the method, like that. At the rate future method should declare as a static. Yes, these methods are static. So whenever you wanted to call them from any class, you can just call with the class name. You do not have to create the object. You must have basically know this concept about the calling about the normal member functions of the class, or static functions of the static members of the class. The static members can be called by the class name directly. Yes, future methods can only return a void type. Yes, you see the signature, this is the signature of the future method, and it is returning the void type, and it is static and public. Can take only primitive data type as an argument, means no S objects are as a parameter. We can pass only primitive data types like string, decimal, like that. We cannot pass the S objects in Apex. We need to write the future callout as a true or false. Why we need to write this future callout equals to true? I will tell you later about this in this video. Let's see the last parameter. Future method cannot call another future method. Yes, basically if we have two future method in a same class, Yes, definitely we can have multiple future methods in the same class of in the Apex, but we cannot call another future method from one future method. Like say I also have this one more future method. Let's say this one, another future method. So we cannot call this particular method from here, and vice versa. We cannot call this future method from this, and this future method from this. Yes. Let's say the advantages of the future method provides a user an advantages by not blocking user to perform another operation, as I told you earlier, and also provide higher governor limits and executional limits for the processes, as I told you earlier. If we are using the future method just for the API callouts and bulk data operations like that, in that situation, the UI will not be get stuck, or there will be no flicking situation like that, and there will be no lag situation. So these are the advantages of using the future methods in such scenarios. And lastly, let me just tell you about why call out true or false. So basically the call out equals to true is used to make an API call out from the future method. If we are calling an external API from the Apex class from our org, we have to write call out equals to true, and by default the value is false. And if you want to make a API callout, we have to declare this as a true, as I written over here. If you want to call the third party system or HTTP callout outside the Salesforce system, you need to set the callout equals to true in future method. If you set it false, it means the method is not making any HTTP callout. You see, this true is used to call out the HTTP, just to communicate our SF system to outside system. Okay, by default it's false. There is no need to mention the call out equals to false. Okay, so here I just told you about the future methods. Let me just take an example to you I have created in my org. Yes. So this is the class I have created, like the name is services, and I have written over there call out equals true, as I told you. And this is the method. This is the method signature: publish static void get weather data string city. String city is a parameter, as I can told you, as I told you about that. S objects cannot be passed over here as a parameter in the future method. So what this program is actually doing, let me just tell you about this. It is taking an API key. Actually I am using a third party open weather API services. That API services will give us the weather related data once we call this particular method about that city, which we will be going to pass in as a parameter. Okay, so you see there is an endpoint URL http make callout, and what this particular function is actually doing in the last, if the response is 200, means this is okay. We got the response from the API, there is no error, then we definitely have to parse the data, and we can save to our SF object, or whatever the operation we wanted to make, we can. So here I'm just printing just to show you about that. So let me just run this program. services dot get weather data. Okay, let me just pause here. Delhi. Yes. So as I told you about get weather data is a static method, so we do not have to create an object of the services class here. So we can call directly the static members of class with the class name. Yes. Yeah. Here you can see the temperature, pressure, humidity, temperature, minimum temperature, maximum temperature, or we can write over here in a good manner minimum T, maximum temperature. Sorry. Yes. Maximum temperature. Temperature, pressure, humidity, minimum temperature, minimum minimum temperature, maximum temperature. Okay, let's see. Let's save this. And as I shown you the results earlier also, this will get printed. Let me just clear the previous log and let's go to the, let's say, Bhopal. Execute. Yeah, this particular thing will comes in a later. This result, the second one, because it is an API call out and it will definitely take time to connect with the server and gets data from it. We are just getting the small data, so that is why it is giving us a result in a milliseconds. But sometimes we need to make a bigger we need to call an API which is getting a large amount of data. In that case, the processing is much bigger, and these future methods are useful in that. Okay, so here is the explanation. Hope you liked it very much, and this session will definitely gives you more details about the future methods. If you liked it, just please like my video and comment also your queries and your questions, and I will definitely reach out to you and I will create more videos on that if I need. So definitely subscribe to my channel for the more informative videos. Thank you.